Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gunpowder and Freedom. So obviously up here at the new house, and I'll tell you what, this is just awesome. There was a point in time that I never thought was going to end where I was constantly starting videos at the old house or just somewhere other than here, and I just kept saying to myself, I can't wait for the day where the majority of the videos, if not all of the videos, are starting out at the Freedom compound or at the new house, and here we are. The majority of them are starting off here. So today what we're working on is getting the garage finalized with the prepping work. On Friday, when we poured underneath this garage bay for a storage area, my dad and the guys jumped up here, put all the sill boards on, put all the frost wall boards on. I need to do some things like drill a hole through the plank right over here for the plumbing run to go down through the floor from my office, as well as go along and fill in along the walls these gaps and cracks with spray foam. So like along the walls need filled in, these bigger seams like this need filled in. Al from Specialized Walls, Specialty Precast, said that it's always good to do that. Not only is it going to prevent concrete cream from seeping through there and dripping down there while we're pouring, while it's wet, he said it also helps for an insulation barrier too. So sounds good to me, Al. I'll get her done. And he did also say no plastic on this. Our concrete needs to bind to the top of those foam core plank, which is why they leave this side so rough. A rougher surface makes for a better binding area. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get my laser set up down below, get the line shot onto the wall and ultimately the bottom of this plank, get a hole drilled, and then we'll pick up filming up here, drilling down through, and a couple other things I need to get done before we pour these on Tuesday. Okay, so here's the two holes that I drilled through this foam core plank. Now, it's right in line with my nail, which is right in line with where my plumbing drop is going to be coming down. So whenever we come down through the floor, we'll give it 90 into the wall or a couple 45s straight down, and then probably a 90 out into this 4-inch sleeve. Now the thing with plumbing is that if you are going to be running a piece of plumbing through masonry work, you should possibly even need to have it run through a sleeve. I'm not 100% sure if that's code or if that's just precautionary measures, because like I've said, I'm not a plumber. But the idea is that if our concrete ever wants to move or shift, it has that freedom to do so, which is why anytime we go to a new house or a demo repour, whatever, and there's a downspout in the concrete, we try to figure out, is there a way, can we leave that out of the concrete? That way, if our concrete wants to shift even a millimeter or two, it's not putting any pressure or strain on that piece of pipe. Now with this being like a main plumbing run from a bathroom, if that moves, if that cracks, now we have a bigger problem going through concrete, straight through concrete. It just turns into a mess. So we'll put this 4-inch sleeve through it. Our 3-inch pipe will drop right through, and then we'll have a little bit of freedom, a little bit of movement that we can put some spray foam insulation around. Yes, it will kind of protrude, how about that word, out into the garage floor, 6 inches or so, but I'm just going to build a little bulkhead. I'll have a workbench there, so we'll be able to hide it as well as protect it. No big deal. We're going to go ahead, trace that 4-inch pipe, drill a bunch of holes around it, and then chisel it all out. So enjoy the time lapse. All right, so 5 holes drilled there, so we'll have 5 rebar coming this way, 1 hole drilled on this corner. That means I'm gonna have 4 other rods coming over top of this foundation wall right here that's helping to support this plank. And then decided to go a step further and add 3 rods coming from here this way. That way we get really, really good support and a really tight 6x6 inch grid directly underneath this post. Like I said, not just the floor, but that post, the steps, the floor above it, never going anywhere. That's gonna be as solid as a rock, pun intended. I think that's a pun. Either way, we're gonna go ahead, get all the bigger loose stuff picked up now. Like I'm seeing a thing of nails, just some garbage from window install, and then we'll leaf blow everything out, and then go around the sides, and then bigger cavities like this with spray foam. All right, guys, all the spray foam is down, and just as luck would have it, I had just enough. Now, if you're wondering, Steve, isn't this foam gonna expand out and kind of affect the concrete? No. The yellow spray foam, sorry, is for the windows and doors, so that's minimal expansion. So it's not getting much bigger than what it is now. Now, the white stuff is what I have to keep an eye on. This is the foam that will expand up to 1 inch. So if that gets to be too much, then all I do is just take a utility knife, cut that off, and we are right as rain. So like you can see, this stuff's kind of puffing up a little bit. I might have went a little bit crazy in that gap right there, but either way, like I said, pretty easy fix. We just cut it off. Now I wanted to make sure I got all of the seams covered up with some sort of foam. That way, you know, when the concrete cracks, and it will, we don't have to worry about any moisture seeping down into that crack, finding a seam, and dripping below us. All of these seams are filled up with insulation foam, expanding insulation foam, so the entire cavity should be filled. I wanted to make sure I did that just so that, again, we didn't have any water dripping through onto the stuff that we're trying to store below. So with all that being said, I need to do one more thing, with the exception of rebar, to have this garage ready, and that is cut some 2x6s for this opening here, fill that in with some plywood, and then wrap it with ice and water shield to make sure that wood is protected from the concrete. So that'll probably be easier done from outside, so we'll fire up the lift, let that warm up, and then get going from there. All right, guys, so Tuesday, right around noon, just got done pouring a floor for my dad. Came over to the property with 50 rebar to get them in the garage and have them ready to go. And the guys at Cranberry Supply, as well as Frankenstein, just are the best to deal with. Justin at Frankenstein, he makes it so convenient for us whenever we need anything. And Johnny over at Cranberry Supply, anytime we need stone, he does whatever he can to take care of us. So got over here, we got 2 or 3 triaxle number 3 limestone, and we're gonna build up this area so that tomorrow when the mixers pull in and out, we have more elevation. More elevation on the truck means a better drop on their chutes, which means the concrete's gonna come down that chute a lot easier, and makes it easier on us pulling it back and raking it. So obviously can't have them just in piles, so I'm gonna go fire up the skid loader, get that warming up, fueled up, greased up. We'll get this moved, and then we'll get our rebar in. So enjoy. Okay, so just as I was getting stuff set up to get rebar off, number 3 pulled up. My magnet didn't pick anything up through here, which was nice. That means I got all the nails or anything else covered up. This driver's awesome. He treats us so well here. He said, yeah, no problem. He'll tailgate this and then dump the remainder up there. And if you're not sure what tailgating is, stay tuned. You're about to find out. Good. Driveway's fixed up, turnaround's filled in. We got plenty of height now to get the mixer in nice and smooth and safe. Time to get this rebar in and set. All right, guys, so everything is done and in. I actually went a step further over there. I'll show you that in a second. But this area right here, like I've said a couple times now, that is right where that post is going to be going, supporting this beam that's supporting some of the weight from this second floor. Now, I do have these LVLs in there. Obviously, they dead end on this beam. There's one length that goes the whole way through, but these engineered beams, floor joists rather, sorry, they're very, very strong and they span the entire length. Not to mention the weight of the roof is mostly on the exterior walls. So this post right here, wherever it's going to be right here, it's not going to carry that much weight aside from the beam and a little bit of the floor weight, but you know, we just wanted to make sure we're taking every precaution we can. It's tied in. All of these runs of rebar are tied in to the walls. There, that one there, and then these ones are on top of the footer there. 2 of these runs continue into the next bay. So if this post or anything wants to give way or move or whatever, it's got to pull everything with it because everything's connected in here, which is kind of one of the reasons why I wanted it set up this way. Getting over to here, what I did was I took some of my window wrap and I wrapped it up that piece of 2x6 that's our bottom plate. We picked up the floor height 3/4 of an inch just to help get the fall going out that we need. But like I said, I just wanted to make sure we keep all the concrete off any untreated wood. So we wrapped that up, and that's that. All the rebar is tied. Good morning, everybody. Mixer shows up and he brings the sunshine with him. Garages are all finalized. It was dark to see from the camera, so we stapled up some of that window wrap around the untreated wood on the inside of the garage, adjusted the height of the lip board, and concrete's here. Let's get pouring. Okay, he made it. I believe he said he has about a half a yard left. So really happy I decided to up the amount on truck number 4. I'm gonna go ahead and get on and see if I can start doing first pass on first truck. So we're over here slaving away on the floor. My dad's making a seesaw of death with my daughter. And I say that. Could you find a board that has more nails in it?
Well, at least they're pointing down.
Is that fun, Eleanor?
There we go. Uh-oh, you're stopping.
Ready? You gotta keep it up like that, and then
Thank you, Dad.
you're welcome. Hey, look at me and smile. All right, so first and second truck are done. Matt and Jim are doing second pass on third truck now. Now remember, third truck and fourth truck were both only 5 yards each, so kind of smaller sections, but setting up nice. And this is kind of a rare one where we need to hit it 3 times. Just something about it. Our normal 2-pass finish isn't really working out the best. Not really sure why. So 3 passes over it. It cleans up real nice. Yep. Nope. All good. Say it. Thank you. So yeah, it all looks good. The sills are all done. Everything's broomed. We're doing a straight broom finish on these. No finished edge mark. I like the looks of it. I think it looks pretty clean. So play the waiting game now for trucks 3 and 4. All right, everybody, now that I can see from the dust storm that I just created, you guys can see the finished product. Now, unfortunately, I was downstairs working on the plumbing. My time-lapse camera was acting up, battery's dead, so I wasn't able to show you guys any of the cuts. But basically, we have a cut coming off this corner, dove that one down with the chop saw to kind of force it to crack right off that corner. Hopefully it'll follow that cut straight up into there. And then we did our normal cut pattern. We came in a couple feet from the front, a couple feet from the back so that they look symmetrical. The idea is to give us some protection up front here for the weight transfer of the cars when they pull in. That initial weight transfer sometimes likes to crack concrete right a couple feet in. And then obviously we did our center cut there, center cut down the center of the 16-foot opening. I got a couple cuts coming off this corner here. This is obviously the cut that comes in a couple feet, as well as this one connecting this corner to that corner. All of these cuts were dove down with the chop saw. Again, the idea is to force the crack right there. Sorry. So we came off this corner, followed that straight back, which just so happens to be pretty darn close to right where that post is going to be. So on top of having all of that rebar right there, we have a control cut for that post to sit on. Again, in a couple feet here, in a couple feet on the back, center, and then center on this door opening. We held this one back a little bit further than normal just to catch the edge of the door here. Oh, that was a lot of cuts. That was a lot of cuts, and this concrete is hard because that was not like a smooth, easy cutting floor. It cut nice. There's no chippings, like nothing really gouged or anything, which is always nice. Yeah, I mean, if you're in the middle of saw cutting and you're noticing your cuts are kind of flaking and chipping, they don't look super clean. That means that concrete's too soft. You need to pull it up and wait a little bit longer. So, I mean, between the little bit of prep that we had, my dad and the guys really just kind of hammered out the door sills for me, which was nice. And then I came back and hammered out that hole for the drop tube for the plumbing. Put rebar in, patched a hole, did whatever else I could. It all went relatively smooth. We ended up picking up the floor height a little bit more at the wall, and then dropped it a little bit on this door sill here. So now we have a 3/4 inch lip on our door sill there, which I like. That's going to give us really good protection should we ever get some sort of substantial rain where the water isn't running out fast enough and it builds up underneath the door, which, believe it or not, does happen from time to time. Regardless, we have fall on these sills as well as that lip. I mean, we get crazy rainstorms here from time to time, so just a little bit out of precaution, but they're not as big as the 1.5 inch that we normally do, and I like that just so that whenever the girls come in with their bikes or whatever else they're riding, it's not some crazy transition. It's a nice smooth transition, as well as pulling a car in. That'll be a little bit nicer too. So this is done. Finishing up the plumbing downstairs so that can get inspected. You guys will see that in a later video. Then we have our radiant floor heat. Then we're pouring the basement, which hopefully should be next week. And then after we get the basement poured, Chester and his guys will be back to set all the steps for me. So a lot of things happening in the next week, and I cannot be more excited. But for right now, I want to thank you guys for tuning back in to another episode of Gunpowder and Freedom. If you liked what you saw, please click the like and subscribe. Don't forget to like us on Instagram. And as always, I cannot thank you guys enough for the continued support. It really is awesome. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.